Assalamu alaikum, friends. Welcome to the Zero Excitements channel. Why is it that even when something genuinely good finally happens in our lives, something we waited for, hoped for, worked toward, imagined during boring nights and stressful mornings, instead of feeling pure happiness, we feel strangely neutral, awkward, anxious, or quietly underwhelmed, as if the moment arrived but forgot to bring the emotion with it? This doesn't happen because we are ungrateful or emotionally broken, but because modern life trained our brains to treat good moments like notifications rather than experiences, where the second something positive happens, our mind immediately switches into analysis mode, asking what's next? How long will this last? Will this change anything? Is this enough? And how does this compare to everyone else? Before happiness gets a chance to settle, it gets interrupted by overthinking, future planning, silent fear, and comparison because we no longer live inside moments. We process them like content, scroll past them mentally, and move on before they can leave an emotional mark. It's almost funny how we can wait months or years for something, and when it finally arrives, we react like, oh, okay, and then check our phone because our attention span is exhausted and our emotions are overstimulated. We live in a world that taught us happiness must be loud, dramatic, visible, and instantly overwhelming. Otherwise, it doesn't count. But real happiness rarely behaves like that. It usually shows up quietly, without music, without announcements, without anyone clapping. And because it doesn't scream, we assume it isn't there. Then comes the strange pressure to feel happy properly, to react correctly, to smile enough, to celebrate enough, to look grateful enough, especially when other people are watching. So we perform happiness instead of feeling it, exaggerate excitement, laugh louder than we feel, post faster than we process, and later wonder why the moment felt empty. The moment felt empty because it was rushed, staged, and judged before it was allowed to breathe. This is why sometimes happiness arrives late, days or weeks after the good thing happened, randomly while walking alone, washing dishes, or lying in bed staring at the ceiling, when the mind finally stops commenting and the feeling finally catches up. Then comes comparison, the most efficient joy killer ever invented, where no matter what good happens to you, your brain immediately shows you someone else who did it better, faster, younger, richer, with better lighting and fewer struggles, and suddenly your happiness feels discounted, like you bought joy on sale and found out everyone else got a better version for free. This constant comparison creates emotional inflation where nothing feels special anymore, because everything is everywhere, success is everywhere, happiness is everywhere, and when everything is extraordinary, nothing actually feels extraordinary.
On top of that, we are tired. Not physically tired, but mentally exhausted from constantly thinking, planning, surviving, pretending to be fine, managing expectations, and holding ourselves together. So even good news feels like another thing to respond to, another emotion to manage, another reaction to perform. And instead of celebration, we feel the urge to lie down, not because we're sad, but because we're depleted. Depleted people don't feel joy loudly. They feel it softly, briefly, or not at all. Then, adulthood adds its own comedy, where every good thing comes with anxiety attached. Like, yes, you got the job, but now you're scared of losing it. Yes, you achieved the goal, but now expectations doubled. Yes, you finally relaxed, but now you feel guilty for not being productive. And it's almost hilarious how happiness now comes with terms and conditions that say, congratulations, now please worry responsibly. Slowly, happiness turns into maintenance, pressure, and responsibility because nobody warned us that achieving things doesn't end stress, it just changes its shape.
This is where zero excitements exists. In the uncomfortable realization that life didn't lose meaning, we just lost the ability to be present enough to feel it fully, because our attention is always somewhere else, on the next goal, the next problem, the next version of ourselves we're chasing. When good things happen, they happen to a mind that is already overloaded, overstimulated, and emotionally multitasking. So instead of joy, we feel numbness. And numbness isn't emptiness, it's protection. It's the brain saying there's already too much happening. The irony is that the harder we chase happiness, schedule it, optimize it, and demand it, the more it avoids us, because happiness doesn't respond well to pressure, deadlines, or performance reviews. Happiness shows up when you slow down enough to notice it, when you stop asking what this means for your future and start asking how this feels right now, when you stop comparing your behind the scenes with someone else's highlights. Maybe the real reason we don't feel happy even when good things happen isn't because happiness disappeared, but because we trained ourselves to consume life instead of experience it, to scroll through moments instead of sitting inside them. The solution isn't dramatic or motivational, it's boring, quiet, and slightly uncomfortable. It's lowering expectations, reducing noise, letting good things be small, imperfect, and private, allowing happiness to arrive softly, stay briefly, and leave without demanding more. Happiness was never meant to be constant or overwhelming. Sometimes it's just relief, a calm breath, a subtle smile that nobody notices. And in a world addicted to excitement, that kind of happiness feels invisible, but it's the only kind that actually lasts. If this feels uncomfortably familiar, then welcome to Zero Excitements, where we don't promise happiness, we just explain why you stopped feeling it, and how maybe, slowly and quietly, you can start feeling something real again. Like, subscribe, and we'll meet again in the next episode of Zero Excitements, where we'll make even more boring parts of life so interesting that you'll feel entertained while being bored. Allah Hafiz.